Good morning. It is Monday, September 8th. And did you guys have any weird dreams over the weekend? Because mine were very strange and sent me down some very weird rabbit holes. But also intuition and things of that were probably kicked up over the weekend. Started seeing folks for who they really are type of energy there. And we are now in between eclipses. Then the solar eclipse is on the 21st. So we've got this 2-week period in between eclipses where we have the reveal with the lunar eclipse of what needs to be released. But it's a north node lunar eclipse, so it was showing you like what you also need to be bringing in with that release, what that release is going to bring as a gain for you. And then we have in 2 weeks a south node solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, where we will see a beginning of an end. It is a new beginning of a release of Virgo types of things. And at 29 degrees, there's a big finality to it, right? So this in-between time, we're going to be closing stuff out so that we can start that new plan, the new ideas, the new ways of going forward, what we're going to be letting go of moving forward. So all that being said, today the moon is still in Pisces until about 12:37, I believe, Mountain Time, and then it moves into Aries. Before it moves into Aries, it's going to make a conjunction to Saturn. You're going to see whatever came up over this weekend tested. You're going to see those boundaries tested, your emotional boundaries, your healing boundaries, your intuitive boundaries, right? You're going to see folks with the shadiness trying to push back. A lot of spiritual psychosis kind of stuff is going to come up with this, especially like the folks that are in the spiritual community that are trying to like cling to some position of authority within the community. They're going to be really pushy probably. And then the moon moves into Aries, where Mars and Libra takes control of the rulership there. This is where things might get spicy. It's going to make a conjunction to Neptune, where those true intentions of people's actions is being revealed with that Neptune retrograde. It's going to make a sextile to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So there's like this opportunity to see what's happening, what's being revealed, what's secrets being dug up and showing you what to do with it. And then a sextile also to Uranus retrograde in Gemini, where we're kind of reviewing all of those thoughts in our mind, the chaos outside that has now been brought inside, where we really got to start acknowledging what's happening around us. This could have to do with the greater collective as a whole, or it could even do with your personal community, and whether that's the community you live in, your friend group, your co-workers, things of that nature. But Mars and Libra ruling it could also bring a lot of like aggressive helpfulness. The helpfulness that where people like decide that they know what's best for you, so they're going to badger you until you do it. That kind of helpful energy. There's also just using aggressive tactics to get people to fall in line. There is people-pleasing energy here as well, people pushing you to just be a people pleaser, just straddle the line, just be a devil's advocate kind of energy there as well. But what we saw over the weekend, it shows us the direction we need to be moving. We need to have good boundaries around that, not let other people push us around. So energy of the day is the Four of Pentacles. That is an energy of like just keeping things to yourself. There is this energy of like, I really don't want to make these changes. Everything's just kind of wonky. You just really want to cling to that comfort zone, right? But we're also seeing that we do need to make some changes. You also might be realizing that people are not who they say they are. So you're not in an energy of wanting to share things with people because you're not trusting anybody. Quite honestly, that's okay. Four of Pentacles can also be about stinginess as well. The world's falling apart. When things like that happen, a first reaction is to like cling to everything that you have and tell everyone else to screw off. So really watch out for that as well. What we're focusing on is the Eight of Pentacles. These two are looking at each other, right? So we're keeping everything close to our chest, but we're also just doing this like going back to the drawing board and like readjusting our plans. That's what this nodal axis with the South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces is trying to get us to do, is to re-examine our plans and realize that we cannot control everything. Sometimes we have to be able to go with the flow here. So what's come up that's showing you where you need to start replanning. What we're avoiding is the Nine of Wands. That I swear this has been in every reading for like the last week. I swear it. You want the boundaries, right? But you don't have to actually fight. All you gotta do is say them, right? And we just, Nine of Wands is that wounded warrior, right? You've already been through this fight and you're just gonna keep fighting, right? We don't need to fight. That Mars ruling the moon is gonna make you wanna fight, but when it comes to Libra energy, it's just all about having boundaries against injustices, right? So just really make sure that you've got your boundaries strong, but you don't actually have to fight it. We don't need to get spicy here. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Wands. So this underlying energy of like the manifestations that you put in place, wanting them to come in, wanting your win, right? But we're also seeing that maybe that win that we were trying so hard for isn't a possibility anymore. That's a hard pill to swallow. Let's pull clarifiers for our Four of Pentacles. Now, where we are right now has a lot of people in vulnerable situations. When we have a lot of people in vulnerable situations, that's when you get other people trying to use those vulnerabilities to get what they want, right? That's what Saturn and Neptune is doing, but it's revealing it to us because it's retrograde, right? So we want to make sure that we're really paying attention and not like letting people take advantage of our vulnerabilities here, especially when they offer it as help. That's okay. Clarifiers for the Knights, or not Knight of Swords, Four of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Swords and the Four of Wands. It's like you're keeping things to your chest. You're not wanting to let go of anything. It's very Virgo energy of like, no, this is the way things are supposed to be, and I'm not going to change it, right? And it's trying to chase after that Four of Wands celebration, that fun, right? You're like willing to fight for it. You're willing to argue for it type of energy. Like you're just not wanting to let go of what you've always thought things would be. Bottom of the deck is Three of Swords. So like there's that heartache of realizing that things are changing. Clarifiers for the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Devil and the Ten of Wands. So we're focusing on that, readjusting our plans, focusing on getting back to the drawing board, right? Because we're realizing that things are in fact out of our control. And if we continue to try to control every little tiny detail, that weight's going to get real heavy and it's going to get overwhelming. So we really need to make sure that we are in fact working with the energies as they are coming up instead of trying to control the energies as they're coming up. Clarifiers for our Nine of Wands. We have the Fool and Five of Wands. Again, you don't have to actually fight. You have boundaries, but you don't have to fight, right? This taking a leap of faith and having the argument. These are petty arguments. It's distractions, right? Uranus retrograde in Gemini. A lot of folks are going to be wanting to lash out as they're starting to realize things, how things are really out of their control. They can't do everything that they thought they could. There's going to be a lot of petty arguments around. Don't engage in that. It's just a distraction from what you really need to be focusing on. Bottom of the deck is Four of Swords. So that underlying desire to just have some mental peace. We're all tired, right? But and I know we need to find space. You need to find spaces in life to have that mental peace, but we can't be so obsessed with finding that mental peace that we just like ignore everything else and put our fingers in our ears and pretend like nothing's happening. So really think about, how do you need to change your plans? How can you learn to go with the flow of things that are happening? Not getting feisty about it. You don't have to fight everybody about it. Just take a breath today and move slowly and intently through the day.